Hey everyone, just wanted to say I truly enjoyed our formal attire Google Meet today. I would say for the first session it was a success, and we'll certainly be doing more in the future. I think I speak on behalf of Mrs. K and myself when I say we really do love seeing you guys, at least virtually for now, and seeing your faces. I think it just gives us some extra motivation to keep pushing through as well. So we hope you can do the same, and I hope you guys enjoyed that today. For those of you that couldn't make it, I apologize if the times didn't work out, but there will be more in the future. All right. And we're going to fill you in now with this review video. All right. As you can see, it's getting dark outside. It has been a fun-filled, jam-packed day of mathematics. I'm a little exhausted, so bear with me, but I love it. These are my favorite types of days. All right, here we go. All right, so if you missed the Google Meet today, we pretty much just went through this quiz review, which was posted this morning, all right, Thursday morning, and it's not due, so to speak. It's not an assignment that you have to turn in, so it's really just for your own benefit to get ready for Fun Quiz Friday. All right, we pretty much went through all the odds during the Google Meet session, and so I'm going to pretty much do the same thing here on this review video, and then I will show you the answers to the evens and the steps in order to get to those answers. So feel free to pause the video. I'll give you a heads up on when a good time to pause it would be, and then you can try those evens, and you should be good to go then for the quiz. All right, here we go with the first one. Starting simple here with just basic multiplication, all right? As Mrs. Kabarowitz says, I like how she presents this. You know, you got to multiply what's outside the house and then what's inside the house. All right, there is really nothing outside here. We could fill in a 1 if you want. If we don't see anything out front, we assume it to be a 1. 1 times 1 is still 1, so not going to change anything here. So just like we are all hopefully staying inside the house for the most part, especially in the rainstorm right now, we are going to multiply 8 times 10. They're both inside the house. 8 times 10 gives us 80, so we get radical 80. And now we're looking to simplify that. That is not the final answer. We can simplify that further. So go through your cheat sheet, your factor chart, whatever you have at home. And if you make a list of factors here for 80, you'll be going through a bunch of different combinations here. 180, 2 and 40, 4, 20, and then let's go 5 and 16. All right, you could keep going. There is a 8 and 10 as well. All right, but what we really want to look for here is the 5 and 16. So let me circle that over here. 5 and 16 would be the winner, since 16 here is the biggest perfect square factor of 80. So we're going to put that one first, so we remember to square root that and get rid of the radical. And we put the 5 second. Square root of 16 is simply 4. 4 radical 5. That's how you get your final answer. That's what photomath will show you. That's what the answer key will show you. 4 radical 5. Check. All right. This would be a good time to pause the video and try the second one. All right. Here we go with the second one. Check your steps. Multiply what's outside the house. 1 times 4 is 4. It stays outside. And then what's inside? Radical 10 times radical 6 is radical 60. Break that up with 4 and 15. All right, with 4 being the biggest perfect square factor of 60. So that reduces to just 2, and 4 times 2, since this is being multiplied outside here, these are connected with multiplication. So 4 times 2 is 8, and you get 8 radical 15 for your final answer on that one. Check your answer key. Boom. Done. All right, moving on to number 3. What do we have going on here? Well, we have a little distributive property. All right, we have a monomial times a binomial. That means I'm drawing my arrows, keep my work organized. All right, and then the same principles still apply as we just went over in the first couple. All right, so whatever's outside we multiply. In this case, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. All right, and then the radical 5 has to, that's a part of this term. It has to come along for the ride. And then now we're going to multiply the outside here, the second term. So we're going to need another negative 5 out front. And then square root of 5 times square root of 5. I spent some time going over this during the Google Meet today. 5 times 5 is 25. So we know the square root of 25 is really just 5. If you want to skip this step and, just maybe cross this off, that's fine. Just know, okay, this is 5. And then we're going to multiply these. All right, so by multiplying those, we're going to get negative 25, which gets you that final answer of negative 15 radical 5 minus 25. All right, so let's double check. There it is, negative 15 radical 5 minus 25. Bam, and box that final answer. There we go. All right, so try number 4 if you want. Similar problem here with the distributed property. All right, and pause the video if you want to try it on your own and then check out the answer. All right, there you have it. Not too bad here. Really, we just needed to, simplify radical 45 when you multiplied the radical 15 times radical 3. All right, I split that up with 9 and 5. And the square root of 9 is just 3, so you end up with 9 radical 5. And you originally got 2 radical 15, which couldn't be simplified any further, so that just gets brought all the way down here to the final answer. Can't combine any more like terms, so you are done. Check it off the list. All right, we are 1/3 of the way done. And now we get to the fun stuff. All right, number 5 and number 6, we have a binomial times a binomial. All right, so talk about a TBT here. We're really throwing it back to our favorite 4-letter F word in mathematics, which is, you got it, FOIL. All right, so we're going to go first. Negative 3 times negative 1. That gives you positive 3. Negative times negative is a positive. And okay, I think my video cut out there for just a second, but we're back. So, yeah, we left off with negative times a negative is a positive. Thank you, Mr. Escalante, for that. All right, and then we go to the outside terms. Negative 3 times radical 2 just gets you negative 3 radical 2. The inside terms, we have another negative times a negative is a positive. So we get plus 3 radical 2, and then to finish it off, we get negative 3 radical 2 times radical 2. All right, so be careful with this one. That's going to get you negative 3 outside, and then radical 2 times radical 2 is just 2. Once again, if you want to write this as radical 4, that's fine. Just realize we know square root of 4 is simply 2. All right, so make sure you multiply those, and then we can combine like terms. The nice thing here is we get these opposites, negative 3 radical 2 and positive 3 radical 2. See you later. They're gone, and we're just left with 3, and then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So 3 minus 6 gets you negative 3. And that's how you get that final answer of negative 3 for number 5. Check. So far, we're 5 for 5. All right. Pause the video now if you want, and I'm going to go through 6, all right? All right, once you go through number 6, see if you got it. Negative 3 plus 7 radical 3. All right, once again, you get a negative times a negative is a positive 6 out front here for your first terms. Outer terms, 9 radical 3. Inner terms, negative 2 radical 3. And the last term is just negative 3 times 3, essentially, which is negative 9. All right, so then when you combine those like terms, I underline them, you get 7 radical 3, and then 6 minus 9 is negative 3. So negative 3 plus 7 square root of 3. That is your final answer for number 6. Halfway there. Living on a prayer. All right, we are on to dividing, the last half of the review. And I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. I hope you guys are ready. I don't know how long you want to listen to me talk, but I'm going to speed through 7 through 10 real quick here. All right. So basically, I see 3 over 3 right away. So guess what? See you later. They cancel out. So that leaves me with just square root of 3 over square root of 16. If you watch the Khan Academy videos and my video I posted earlier today, you cannot have a square root in the denominator. that's when we would have to rationalize. But the catch with this one is the square root of 16 is actually a perfect square, right? So we already know that to just be 4. So guess what? That's the answer. You're done. Square root of 3 over 4. All right, so you look at your answer key and voila. All right, 7's done. Guess what? 8's even easier. You can still pause it really quick if you want. All right, but I'm going to jump right into it. You know the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. You know the square root of 9. That's 3. Can we reduce 2/3 any further? We cannot. That's our final answer. All right, so if it's that easy, don't overcomplicate it. Take the easy ones while you can get them. All right, now we're moving on to number 9. We got some more perfect squares here. Well, let's recopy that numerator, -5 plus square root of 3. And we know the square root of 25. We're starting to see these numbers over and over again, so hopefully you have your perfect squares memorized, 1 through 30. All right, 1 through 30 squared. But the square root of 25 is simply 5. And we cannot cancel these out, all right, since technically, as Mrs. K pointed out on the Google Meet today, there's a 1 in front of that, so we really can't simplify that any further. This could be left as the final answer for number 9. -5 plus square root of 3 over 5. I think that's how they leave it on the answer key. Yep. All right, so that one's all done. And let's finish this fast 4 up with number 10. Similar strategy, but we do have one extra step here. All right, first we want to just recopy that numerator. -2 plus 4 radical 2 over, well, square root of 16 is simply 4. All right, now there's 2 ways you can go about this. If we're going to leave it in a similar form as number 9, we're going to look at what's the greatest common factor, that GCF between 2, 4, and 4. Well, it's going to be 2. Right? So we're just going to really divide this by 2 and this by 2 and this by 2, and we're going to get -1. All right? Because -2 divided by 2 is -1 plus 2 radical 2 divided by 2. All right? And that's as far as we can reduce. I redeemed myself from the Google Meet session. Had a little snafu on that one. Luckily, Mrs. Kabarowitz was there to have my back. All right, we all got each other's back right now. That's good. So let's double check. There we go. -1 plus 2 radical 2 over 2. Check it off. All right, we're 10 for 10, folks. 2 to go. Let's finish off strong. All right, saving the best 2 for last here. All right, with a little rationalizing and conjugate action. All right, so as we talked about earlier today, the conjugate, I'm more concerned with you guys just understanding what the conjugate is and how to apply it. All right, not so much as actually simplifying with all the algebra steps. All right, but just recognize right away, what is the conjugate of this expression? All right, so if you remember back from when we were doing imaginary numbers, the conjugate, let's see if the phone can focus here so we can see clearly. All right, there we go, high definition. We need to just change that operation in between those two terms. So we need to change that sign from negative to positive, and we have our conjugate. That's it. So then to rationalize this, we multiply both the numerator, all right, and the denominator by 4 plus radical 5. That's the only thing that changes. You identify that middle sign, all right, and you switch that. If it's a negative, it becomes positive. If it's a positive, it becomes negative, all right? And it's only in the denominator that we have to do this. So now, once we do our distributive property in FOIL, we should be good to go. And you'll see how that works out, all right? So we're going to do a little distributive property up top here. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times radical 5 is just 5 radical 5. And this is where the fun starts to happen. So now we have a FOIL down here. This is where it's good to maybe take some scrap paper. Since we have all this extra room on the answer key, why don't we use it? All right. So we need to multiply 4 minus radical 5 times 4 plus radical 5. All right. So why don't you try that out? Do your FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. See what you get. All right, pause the video, and then I'm going to get you the answer. All right, so once you FOIL that out, you should get positive 16, with 4 times 4, and then plus 4 radical 5 minus 4 radical 5, which is the objective. They cancel out. Very good. And then minus 5. When you take that radical 25, square root of 25 is just 5. So 16 minus 5 is really all we have left to do here. All right, 16 minus 5 gets you 11. So we're going to transfer that, transfer that 11 back here. All right. Remember, that was the entire denominator is what we were doing there in the scrap work up there. All right, and now we just look to see if we can simplify any further, and looks like we cannot. All right, so this is it. That's your final answer. Let's double check our answer key. 20 plus 5 radical 5 over 11. We're good. 1 to go. All right, for this last one, like I was saying on Google Meet today, it would be more of like extra credit. All right, so feel free to try it out. Pause the video if you'd like. I'm going to go through the solution and just try to identify, first of all, what is the conjugate? Okay, identify what would be the conjugate of that denominator. Okay, before I show the final answer, before I get too carried away, check out the conjugate. If you said negative 2 plus square root of 5, you are correct. All you have to change is that middle sign from negative to positive. All right, so we multiply by negative 2 plus radical 5 over negative 2 plus radical 5. You have a double distributive property going on here, double FOIL action. All right, it's not too bad, though. In the numerator, you really can't combine any like terms. So once you go through the first, outer, inner, last, you just get this mess. 6 minus 3 radical 5 minus 10 radical 3 plus 5 radical 15. And then the denominator is where those radicals cancel out, which is the whole idea of using the conjugate. So you just get 4 with negative 2 times negative 2. You get positive 4 and then minus 5, which is negative 1. So if I wanted to just cross this off or just combine these, let's say, all right, we know 4 minus 5 is just negative 1. So perhaps you could leave it like that, but you won't see it written like that on the answer key, because when you divide anything by negative 1, well, what does it do to the sign? Well, just like multiplying by negative 1, it changes it. So really, we just have to flip the sign on all of these terms in the numerator. So it's now going to be a negative 6. It's now going to be a positive 3 radical 5. All right, it's now going to be a positive 10 radical 3. And it's going to be a negative 5 radical 15. Negative 5 radical 15. All right, and that should do it. And then we no longer have to divide by negative 1. We already just did that. So there's your final answer, negative 6 plus 3 radical 5 plus 10 radical 3 minus 5 radical 15. We are perfect, 12 out of 12. Very good. I hope this helps. Hope I kept it under 20 minutes. I don't know. It's going to be close. I tried to reduce the entire Google Meet hour session into 15 minutes or less. All right, I think I came close, but study up, get some sleep tonight. Don't stay up till 3 in the morning, and good luck tomorrow on Fun Quiz Friday. All right, take care, guys. P.S. It's pitch black outside now. I'm still wearing my southern tie, and it's way past my bedtime. Sorry if this gets posted late, but it might still be early for you guys. We're on different, totally opposite sleep schedules. All right. Have a good night. See you guys.